Okay, so, oh my goodness, I'm a little nervous because I have been preparing this message for quite some time now, and I've talked about it on my podcast on Podbean, and it's like I'm out of breath and everything because I'm just like, I'm trying to get the right outfit, which I still don't feel like is the right outfit because it's showing the girls. But like, I don't feel like it needs to be, honey, I guess it's like the wrong angle or something. Listen, I need somebody to listen. Anywho, I'm about to chop that out. But yeah, this is a long time coming. I have been praying over this message for quite some time now, but like really praying for the right delivery for this message at the right time to meet the right person. And last week I was so nervous, and I was supposed to actually record this message last week, so I thought, but Holy Spirit reminded me that I'm coming up on my year anniversary of me moving back home to Georgia from Houston, and that also goes in with this message that I will be sharing, or just my testimony, not even necessarily a message. I'll just say it goes in with my testimony, and I'm nervous because it's like I don't even know where to start. So if you see me like looking over there, it's nobody here, it's just me. But I'm just trying to find the right words, and I prayed on it. But so like I was saying, this on Saturday, October the 8th, will be 1 year since I've been back home. So the story not necessarily begins with last year, but everything just blew up last year. So last year I decided that I wanted to move to Houston. It was very impulsive. I had the urge to go somewhere else, and I didn't understand why did I, and you'll see the sun come in and out, but ooh, check it out. But I had the urge to go somewhere. Like, I just in 2020, December 2020, I finished my bachelor's degree. When I tell you, that was an ordeal. I finished my bachelor's degree, and I just felt empty after working so hard to get something. And once I finally got that piece of paper, it was just like, what now? Like, what do I do now? And I didn't know where to move from there. And I just thought, like, once, like when I was applying for jobs before in, you know, the field that I was majoring in, which is supply chain management, when I was applying for the job, you know, jobs before in logistics, they were basically just saying you need to have a degree. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went and got the degree. And so now it's like I have the degree in December 2020, and I just feel so empty. Like, dang, what did I really work for? Just like, what is going on? And it's just like, I didn't understand why I felt that way. And so a few months had passed. I wasn't looking for jobs because I don't know. I think I was a little scared, intimidated. I don't honestly know why, because it's like I spent so much time doing something. It was like, girl, this is all you needed. But I was just complacent. That's what it was. I was very complacent in like where I was at. The money was all right. I was familiar with this job. I was an EMT for 7 years, and it was just like, I was so familiar with it. It was like, okay, I'm not about to uproot myself right now. Like, I felt like I needed some time to decompress, because as we know, you know, 2020 was a year for everyone. And, you know, I was just struggling mentally and emotionally for, you know, quite some time before the pandemic even started. So I just really felt like I needed some time to just sit down and just chill and like not really focus on what was my next plan. And so a few months had passed, and now we're at March, and a friend asked me if I wanted to go to Texas with her daughter to go visit her cousin. I was like, sure, why not? Like, I'm not doing anything. I need a vacation because I had just in I think February, at the end of February, I moved out of my apartment, closed out my lease and everything, and I went and stayed with my sister because I was going to eventually go move in with my dad and my stepmom in order so I could save money, just figure out what I was doing. Like, you know, like, honey, you ain't got to pay no bills besides like the little small bills, and you don't have to pay for rent or anything. And so I was just waiting because, you know, he was getting a house built and everything, and I was excited to do that, and I wanted to spend more time with my dad as well. So I felt like that was a perfect opportunity. So March comes around, you know, I'm just bored with my job, bored with my life, just didn't know where to go. And when she asked me if I wanted to go to Texas, I was like, sure, why not? Let's do it. And so we go and visit her cousin, and the time out there, it was cool. You know, it wasn't anything spectacular, but what made that trip for me is I was like, I just got the bright idea. Oh, I'm going to move to Houston. Like, the vibe seemed cool. It seemed like a great place to start over. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna move to Houston. Just because I was just so sick of sleeping on my sister's couch, and I just felt like I needed something. I didn't want to get an apartment in Georgia because I was just over that, and I wasn't quite ready to purchase a home. So I was like, you know, why not? Like, I want to get away from all of this, so why not go and start over? You know, fresh graduate, like, it wouldn't be no problem with me finding a job. Like, I pretty much had everything I need. Like, everything was already in storage. Everything was already packed up. So the only thing I had to do was just move, you know? And so I decided on that. When I came back, I started the process of looking for an apartment out in Houston. Found an apartment. It was gonna pay for the first month. And I was like, because I was an EMT, so I was like, yeah, perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, good. We got that over with. Like, I get a first month free. And I, you know, like, everything just seemed like it was working out. I was getting job interviews. Like, I had at least 4 job interviews before I even moved out to Houston. And then the week that I was moving out to Houston, I think I had like 3 more job interviews. So I was like, cool. And my siblings, a few of my siblings, I'm saying a few like I have a ton of them. I only have 4 siblings, but my 2 of my siblings and my older brother's wife, they helped move me out to Houston in May. You know, like, everything was working out. Like, I had a graduation party in May. I graduated. I actually walked across the stage in May of 2021. It just seemed like life was so perfect. Like, I was on my way to having the life that I just picture in my mind, because I felt like I was always being held back because, like, I didn't have a degree, and I just wanted that title so bad. So, like, I had the title. I didn't have any, you know, I don't have any kids, and I don't have any kids. Like, I wasn't married, I wasn't in a relationship, nothing was holding me back here in Georgia. And before I had moved, you know, I was telling everyone was just like, why? Like, why Houston? Like, why Texas? It's like, I don't know, I just felt like God was calling me out to Texas, and that was something that I was going to do. It was set and it was settled. And so, like I said, everything was perfect. When I tell you, like, chef kiss, like, I couldn't have asked for anything better. I went back out to Houston in April before I moved out in May, looked at apartments, you know, searched around, and everything was just like really perfect. Like I was so excited to go out there. And one of the questions that I got was, are you moving out there for a man or something? No, I was not. Like I was just wanting a new start. And so with that new start, I was just gonna up and go. Like I didn't have anything holding me back. So I went, I moved out there in May after I graduated. Literally, I walked across the stage a few days, and then like a few days afterwards, I moved out to Houston, and my siblings helped me and everything. And it's just like the transition out there was great. Like everything was nice. Like I was so excited. Like I went exploring around a little bit with my siblings, and just having them there during that time, and just them, helping me out, like my sister-in-law, like getting my apartment settled and everything. Like the only bad thing about that whole process was I was on the 3rd floor. Literally, that was the only thing. Like I was on the 1st floor, but that apartment wasn't ready or whatever, so I had to move to the 3rd floor, and that was literally the only bad thing. So they helped me out that weekend. We drove out there. I want to say what was Thursday, Friday, and they left that Sunday. I flew them back to Georgia. That Sunday, like it was so crazy because like I had the money, like I just had the money to do everything. Like I had the money to get the U-Haul, and that was almost $1,000, and like it's like I had the money to fly all 3 of them back home. Like none of them had to pay for anything but their food, and I paid for gas and everything. Like it would just seem like everything was great. So driving them back, driving them to the airport on that Sunday, and I just got this feeling like, no baby, this is not the mood for you. Like I think you messed up. And my spirit felt it. When I say my spirit felt that, it felt it, and it was trying to warn me, and I was like, nah. I didn't really, my relationship with Holy Spirit, with God before, it just like, I want to go to God when I was in trouble, when I needed something. And I always felt like it was something telling me to go a certain way, something moving me to do something, and I didn't know at that time it was Holy Spirit talking to me or whatever. So it's just like, as I reflect on that time, I could 1000% say that Holy Spirit was saying, no, my child, this is not it. And the months, I wouldn't even say months, the weeks leading up to me, the months leading up to me having to have to go back to Georgia just confirm that feeling that I had, that something, that nudge was telling me to go back home, and it was absolutely true. Like I needed to go back home. And so I'm out there having a good time, in the sense of like before I moved, like while I was getting my degree or whatever, I was working full-time. I was doing overtime to pay for school, also pay for my living expenses, because it was only me taking care of me and all the things that I had to do. And so I was just constantly working in school. I did not have a social life. Like when COVID happened, okay, COVID is happening. Like it was unfortunate, like with me, when I was in the medical field and everything, it was just like, yeah, that sucked or whatever. But I was always just that type of person, like, we're going to get over it, and we would just persevere. And the perseverance would come in later to really test me and show me that I really wasn't ready. But like I just got over it, and I stayed to myself. I isolated myself very much so, just because I was just so caught up in so many things. And throughout this entire time, like I said, as I reflect on my life, I knew that something, I didn't know that something was God talking to me and telling me, no, baby girl, don't do that, baby girl. Why are you doing that? And it's just like, no, you need to go a different way. But not listening, not having a relationship with God and all that stuff. And so I'm out in Houston. I'm trying to get acclimated to my surroundings, my new apartment. Those 3 jobs that I had that week after me moving out to Houston all failed. Well, no, it was either a no from me or a no from them. And I had several, when I say several, I had several interviews from the span of May when I moved out there, like mid-May up until July. Several, like, oh my goodness, I want to say I had at least 15, and all of them was a no. And I'm like, God, like, what's going on? Like, I thought you wanted me to move out to Houston. Like, sir, this money is shorty need a job, you know what I'm saying? Like, this money is not going to last forever. Thank God the sun is settling now, because honey, it felt like, I know I got a tan after this. I know I do, because the sun is blazing. But I digress. And so I just knew that I needed a job like ASAP. And I was already, for some reason, I was just crying on a regular. Not necessarily because I miss my family or like friends back home or anything. I just felt empty. That empty feeling that I felt once I finally like got my diploma and everything. I just felt so empty inside, and the sadness. I was already depressed before, but the pressure of trying to find a job and getting rejected and the no's and everything, it was taking a toll on me, and I didn't quite know how to handle it. And just the constant no's on a regular basis. It's like, you know, one minute you think you got something, interview going so well, and then they turn around and saying no when you know you're qualified for it and everything, and they're just hitting you with this no, and I'm just like, God, why? And it was just like I was trying to keep myself busy. I got into a fitness class. I was working out, I was going to the park. I wasn't partying or anything. Like, I even tried to make friends on Facebook. Like, they had this little group, and, you know, new women to Houston, or whatever the title was. I even signed up for that. Like, I started making acquaintances, and I was talking to a young lady that was in my fitness class. Like, it just, everything was going so well, but I just felt so lonely, even lonelier than I have ever felt before. Like, in Georgia, I was lonely because I wasn't doing anything. And yeah, it just like I felt so lonely, and the pressure of having to find a job like ASAP, like, really just killed me and just like set me over the edge. And the one job that I got, the one yes that I got out in Houston was an EMT position. And it was like, I refused to take this position, but I had to. I was like, I was telling myself, I do not want to do this. I've been doing this for the last 7 years. Like, come on, God. Like, I'm trying to get away from this. I thought you said this was gonna be my big break. I thought you was giving me my blessings, like blessings going on blessings, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? And I accepted the job because I needed the money. And but come to find out, like, in EMS we have this thing called reciprocity, and basically, like, you have to keep up with this test or the certification for the reciprocity to transfer, so from one state to another state. And I had let that lapse my EMT instructor, while I was in school, she told me, she said, make sure you always keep up your national registry, just in case you move to another state or whatever. And I'm saying to myself during, at that time and throughout my career as an EMT, I'm like, no, I ain't moving nowhere, honey. I'm good. I'm staying here. I'm not even gonna be doing this for long. Like, I'm in school to do something else. We're good. We're gonna go on. But no, I decided to move to Texas, and I did not have that, and I forgot all about that. And it wasn't until I was hired at an EMS service out in Houston is where I found out, like, yo, shorty, you do not have this. You need this. They're like, I'm gonna need for you to get this if you're gonna work as an EMT. But something happened to where, like, the guy that was training me, or like was my preceptor, just to see, like, okay, I know you've been an EMT for X amount of years, but let's see if you really know what you're doing. He got hurt. And the day he got hurt, I learned of another position that was open at the place that I was employed at. And I was like, all right, cool. I don't want to be an EMT anymore. I'm going to jump on myself. I'm going to go to a lower level within the company. Who cares? Because I already know God is going to give me this job. We already talked about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this job is coming. And so I demote myself, and I started working as a lower level than where I was before. And I still felt that feeling, like I was relieved because I had a job, but shortly after me deciding to demote myself, I didn't work for 2 weeks. Oh my goodness, when I tell you that crushed me. And around this time, this was right before my 30th birthday. See, like, when I tell you, I was just so happy because I was turning 30. Like, I just moved to a new city. Like, it just seemed like everything was going perfect. Like, I could not have asked for anything better. Like, I wanted to go to Greece for my 30th birthday party, but I was cool with settling just for Houston. I just put all my funds, or a lot of my funds, towards moving out to Houston. So I was cool with it. It was like, I'm in a new place, new environment. Like, I get to make new connections and stuff like that. Like, I'll be good, I'll settle for this for my 30th birthday. And when I tell you, I could not get over myself. It was just like, I wasn't necessarily being hit with so many things. It was because everything was perfect. God had gave me everything I needed. He gave me a job, and he gave me time to rest. And that was ultimately what I needed to do, because I was so burned out from working, and I was burned out from school and everything. Like, he did what he needed to do for me. And that pride just took over. And like I said before, I was already depressed before this, but like, me constantly being rejected. And that's what he was showing me. He was showing me that I had to deal with rejection. And so just being rejected, and the enemy just doing the little work on you, just taking something so, I wouldn't say so small, because like, you can pay a bill, so sure then you're gonna be out on the streets, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's something big. But in the grand scheme of things, that was so small. Like, I had a job, you know what I'm saying? And he just took something so small in my life, and just, with everything that I have ever thought about myself, everything that has ever happened to me just came, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was just like, all those repressed memories, all those repressed thoughts, everything was just coming at me, and I could not get a handle on my emotions to save my life. I've never been able to handle my emotions. But during that time when I wasn't getting paid what I thought I needed to get paid, I didn't get the job that I wanted, like, all these things, and subconsciously I was telling myself that I was a failure. And that's something that I've been telling myself for years. And that moment of me having a bachelor's degree, whoa, You got a bachelor's degree. Girl, you're something. You're doing something out here. You know, having a bachelor's degree and just all this stuff that all these material or these things that I thought that was going to make me someone. And when my plan did not work, all hell broke loose in my mind. When I say all hell broke loose, like I was literally, all of that happening was just the last marble in the bucket just broke the bucket. And I was contemplating suicide, and that very day that I was contemplating suicide, and this was it would have been my third attempt. On that day that I was contemplating suicide, Holy Spirit just came to me, just like I'm talking right now. It's like, think about them. And I'm sitting here thinking, think about them. I was gonna say the word I was gonna say, but I'm like, I'm ready to blow my brains out. Like, I literally cannot take any more disappointment. Like, I'm just so over life. Everything that I try, everything that I do, it all fails. Like, I'm a failure. I would never be able to accomplish anything. And it's just like, literally, as I sit here and I think about it now, it's like, bruh, life was good. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so many people have so many things going on, but here in my mind, those dominant negative thoughts that have always been swirling around in my mind just came full force, and it was just put to the forefront. And I'm just thinking all these things about myself. So I thought a way to just stop the noise, to just stop the chaos, to stop my brain. It felt like it was pulsating. To just stop the madness that was going on up here. I just literally wanted to blow my brains out. And I was sitting there and I was, looking at my gun and everything. And like I said, Holy Spirit said, think about them. And I'm like, who is them? Okay? And he said to me, your siblings. And then he also said, how do you think they would feel if you did this? I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, no. My siblings and I have been through so much together. Like, we lost our mom back in 2013. Like, we didn't even have a relationship with our dad. It was literally just us against the world. And I'm just like, you're right. I can't do this to them. Like, because on my Texas driver's license, my older brother was my emergency contact. And if I would have done what I wanted to do at that time, they would have contacted him. He would have been the first person that they contacted to tell them that I was deceased and like what had happened to me. And I could not stomach it. I could not have put that on him, and I knew I couldn't. And so shortly after that, I just went in my closet and I laid on the floor in the darkness and I just cried my eyes out. Like, I felt so sick. Like, I could not, it felt like something was leaving me. I kind of felt free, but not really. And I was just like, Lord, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I demoted myself. This job is not paying anything. I haven't been working necessarily. Like, man, my rent is due, homie. What you mean? Like, I'm 30. I don't have a job. I'm not married. I don't have kids. Like, I don't even have a career. Like, God, woe is me. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? And throughout this time, I just knew that I was supposed to go home. But I held on because I am so stubborn. And I'm tough as a mule. You know what I'm saying? And I I was like, no, I'm not going back. Because when I took my siblings back that Sunday, when I took them to the airport, I knew I was supposed to go back home. But I was just so stubborn and prideful that I didn't even listen to the little voice that was telling me you had to do something. And all those things transpired. And let's just say I wasn't able to pay my rent. And so I called my dad. My dad would, check on me just about every week, because he would be like, he calls me Suge. He'd be like, Suge, is everything all right? I'm like, yes, Daddy. Everything all right, But in actuality, everything was not all right. And he heard that in my voice. And I called him up shortly after me contemplating suicide. And I called him and I was like, yeah, Daddy, I think I should come home. And by that time, his house was finished, so I would have somewhere to go. And so, and what, because I did not want to do that. But what pushed me to do that was I pretty much got an eviction notice on my door. I came home from work one morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, because I had worked overnight. And I saw the paper on the door, and I knew right then and there, like, if you don't do this, it won't be pretty. Like, when God has to really step in and take over, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. And like my dad always says, like, when God has to intervene, you don't want that. When God has to step in, you are not going to want that. And so I was like, dang, I'm going to have to go. And so I'm scrambling to get everything packed up. Like, I have a whole apartment, you know what I'm saying, that I had to pack up by myself. I had to get things sold. And the one friend, not one, but the friend that I had in my area, I called her and was like, hey, I'm leaving or whatever, after we had our weekend of partying and like getting it out of my system, like that last hurrah before I go. I'm gonna go ahead and get it on in before I leave Houston. Like I will not make Houston remember me, but I'm definitely gonna remember Houston, and it's gonna be something good. So like we went out or whatever, and I told her that weekend that we had went out, like literally the weekend prior to me actually happened to have to leave, which was October the 8th. I told her, I was like, I need help, but for some reason, for some divine reason, which I know the reason now, God did not allow that to happen. God did not allow for her to help me. He sent some other people. I packed up my apartment, and even that weekend before, like my apartment was in chaos. Like there was things everywhere, because I had already started the process, because I already knew I was leaving. And I was trying to get rid of everything. In the midst of me trying to get rid of everything, I was using this app that was helping me to sell my things or whatever to the people in the area. And I was nervous. I was so nervous. And there's this one guy on there in particular. I was looking at his picture. Don't judge a book by its cover, honey. Because I was looking at his picture. I was like, this dude could be a rapist. This dude could be this, that, and the third. Like, I don't even know what I'm about to do right now. But I need homies. I need homies to come over here and get this stuff. And that angel. When I tell you that man was an angel from heaven, it's like God literally just planted him, like just, that man helped me out so much. I want to say for like a day and a half, basically 2 days. Like he did everything, like everything that I could not sell, even packing my car, like from the 3rd floor, this man, he didn't try to hit on me. He didn't try to do me. He wasn't on no funny business or anything. Like literally, that man saved me, because he came a day before and he got some stuff from me or whatever. And I called him back and I was like, hey, like I have some more stuff that I can't get rid of, and like, can you help me? And he was like, sure. Like that one person, that one man that I judged, ended up being my saving grace. And I met another young lady, and she basically had a similar story like mine. Hers a little bit more wild than mine, but she was like, yeah, I moved out to California from Texas with my boyfriend, and things did not work out, and I had to go home myself. And she was like, I had to swallow my pride and tell my family that I needed to come back home. And she was just telling me how like they helped her and everything, and she was an angel too, because just the encouraging words that she gave me, because I was feeling so bad. I was feeling like such a failure, because it was like, dang, bro, you didn't even make it. Mind you, I moved out to Houston in May. I moved back home October the 8th. That was my last day in Houston. And I drove back home with my stuff, and I went out there with a big U-Haul. When I tell you God humbled me in that, he humbled me. I went out there in a big U-Haul, and good thing I gave my sister my couch before I moved out of Houston, because I would have been gone to honey, because that was not going to fit in my Kia. But yeah. Man, when I tell you, the words that she said to me, like, she made me feel better about the situation. Like, I didn't feel so, I was kicking myself. Please don't get it twisted. I was kicking myself, but I wasn't kicking myself that hard. And I was so used to like really laying into myself. And before even all of that happened, the friend that I had that was actually out in Houston with me, she sent me this message, this sermon by Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, Girl Get Up. And that was the defining moment that changed it all, because when I was working overnight, like early morning, I would listen to sermons. Like, I was not into church. Like, I thought church was, I don't know what I was gonna say, but I wasn't into church. I only went to church growing up when my mom would sometimes go, and she made my sister and I go. So I really wasn't involved in church. Like I said, my relationship with God was whenever I was in a bind or in a pinch or something, I would go to him and be like, hey, God, please, I won't do this no more. If you just help me out in this situation, I will never do that. And of course, I would go back on my word on certain things or whatever. But she planted a seed. And Holy Spirit really came in and just shook my world up. He did exactly what he needed to do. I was pissed. I ain't gonna lie to you. While it was happening, I was pissed. I was so pissed at myself. I was pissed at God. And that's something that people don't talk about. Like, I was really mad at God. It was like, I thought you told me I could come out here. You did everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, even I knew that, well, kind of, sort of, but like, even I knew like there was something higher guiding this. So I thought, and I really feel like he led me out there just like to see some things, to notice some things that I was just pushing under the rug, that I pushed under the rug for so many years. And it's like, after he sent those angels to me to help me like get things packed and get on the road and see me on my way back to Georgia, like, that ride was so beautiful. On Audible, I purchased Pastor Mike Todd's book, Relationship Goals, and the second one, I think I know I purchased Relationship Goals, whatever. And I would just listen to gospel music, because I was like really, I wouldn't say heavy in my faith, but I was definitely heavy in like listening to sermons, because that was the only thing, that was the only thing that was helping me at that time. Holy Spirit didn't lead me to do that, I would have never made it. Just where I was at mentally and emotionally, I would have never made it. And it literally started with that one sermon, Girl Get Up. And that's when God called me. And I didn't understand that's when he was calling me. And after I had an encounter with God and him literally saving me from doing the unthinkable, things just changed. And it didn't change in an instant. I had to put a lot of work into it. And part 2 would basically be about the work that I had to put into getting to the place where I'm at a year later, and with my right mind, with a very sound mind. Oh, Jesus, with a very sound mind. And with a deep relationship with God, and really allowing Holy Spirit to lead me and what it is that he's having me do. Hence this video. I started a podcast, and I'm like, I don't even like talking, honey, but clearly I do, because we have 41 minutes right now on my phone. I just been going at it, but I feel like once I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, it doesn't matter. I can talk like forever about it. But if it's something like nuisance, like whatever, it'll take me a while. But part 2 will be about the things that God showed me about myself, like the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, and him pruning the things out of me that he needed to take away from me that were no longer serving me. Getting over the depression, getting over the sadness, understanding why it is that I was sad, understanding those repressed memories and thoughts that I had, and just really, God took a few months, because after I moved back from Houston to Georgia, I didn't work for quite a while. I want to say I moved back in October. I didn't start back working until January the 27th. Or the 17th is one of them, honey. When I went back to my old job, see that all that would be in part 2. And when I tell you, I was upset with myself, and like I said, I was upset with God about me having to move back home from Houston, because I didn't want to. But I'm so thankful every single day when I really sit back and I think about it in hindsight, like how he saved me and how he basically showed me my purpose. And or shall I say, he showed me my calling, my assignment here on earth. And because in church, purpose is to enjoy God, to glorify and to enjoy God. When I tell you, like, the work he has done in me has been amazing. Like, I couldn't ask for anything better. Just the peace that I have, the sound mind that I have, is everything. And so that will be on part 2. So thank you so much for listening to my crazy story. Just listen, honey, already know. And if you have a story as well, to share your testimony, because God says that we receive healing by sharing our testimonies. And if you feel like there's something that you need to share, that you need to get off your chest, and it doesn't matter how crazy it is or how silly it is with my story, because I literally had everything. God had me, and I blew it, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what it is. If you have something that you want to share, you want to get off your chest that you think will help someone, because this is what me sharing my story is to help someone to be released from bondage. Please share it down in the comment section. And if there are some encouraging words that you want to share with me, or others, please leave it. You know, we're here to help one another. We're here to be the love and the companion for one another. And God never sent anyone out into this world by themselves. And if you were feeling lonely, please go down and try to connect with someone. If you don't have anyone around you that you feel like you can connect with someone in the comment section. And so I just ask that you hit the like button. I ask that you subscribe, because I want to take you all along on a journey that God has me on. He's doing amazing things in my life, and He's doing amazing things through me, and He wants for me to push my story out there so He can help others, just how the people that He's put along my path to help me by sharing their story. And so I just ask that you continue to go along on this journey with me. Thank you so much. I love you so much, and have a good day.